28 Chinese players attended the Boston Major, and now, as we close towards the second day of the playoffs, only 5 will make it to the quarterfinals. It has been a turbulent start for us here in the Boston Major. The Wang Theatre has been roaring as Ad Finum did throw a knockout blow to another Chinese side, Newbie. Now, introducing a new panel, fresh faces for our final one, as we have a guaranteed LGD victory. That's the last time I'm making that joke. It has been a little overused, I admit. But still, hang on a second. Winter, you're just getting closer to me. I've just realized he's edging ever closer as the day continues. He's getting closer and closer until he's going to be sitting on my lap when we sign off tonight. You up for that? I'll take that as a yes. Anyway, similarly, Pink Shirt Gods is joining us on the desk for the first time. You've been much closer to the crowd than I have. Have they been as loud as it sounds from back here?
It's been great. Got to cast the MP game right down by the stage. It was fantastic energy. Power of anime prevailing, and Envy playing a Sigma Rana. It's been a really exciting day for Dota.
Well, we've got some more three-game series, which I'm sure you were relieved to see.
Yeah, it was a bit of a worrying day one with all the 2-0s. Very exciting close 2-0s. I didn't feel like 2-0s all the time.
Not at all.
The games today, we're going the full distance.
But when you cast your eyes down the quarterfinals, Ted, do you think there's been the fair share of twists and turns as well in the same day? Wait, let me try.
Okay.
Get my words out.
Take your time.
The second day as there was the first? Wow, I talk too much.
Well, I mean, today I think it's been a great day, though. I would
DC,
just like to
NP.
point out, you know this no memes card I've had in my pocket for the last couple of days? I actually had a name written on the back of this. My tip for the major, it was these lads all along. So I'm just going to leave that there. Just because
I'm not sure how long that's actually been on that
No,
card.
it's been on there for 2 days, mate. I didn't borrow your pen to write that on.
I saw you writing it
No,
on
you didn't.
just now.
No, that's been there the whole time. I'm the Oracle. I'm the Oracle.
I'm okay with him making this prediction because they're still going to win 3 more matches.
They'll be fine, lads. Come on.
He could have made the prediction now, and that's still a bold prediction.
A what prediction?
More series to go.
A bold prediction? Yeah. Okay. Bold, I think you mean, sir. But I'll take it.
It sounds the same, right? We've been
Coming
having
from a
this debate.
guy that looks like he's hosting on a cruise ship, I'll accept it.
Bold and bold.
Yeah. It's bold, B-O-L-D, and bald, B-A-L-D.
Bold.
UNOD, I don't know what it is. It's Market Harbour. Maybe there's no bold people.
Don't reveal
let's
my
move
town.
Along.
Okay.
That's right. Let's move along for Christ's
We've been told
sake.
to move along by the all-seeing eye that is our producer. And now, why don't we meet the director? It is time for LGD and LGD.FOREVER Young to take the stage.
It is no secret that strategist Xiao 8 is one of the best leaders in the world, and the TI4 winning captain has ventured once more onto the breach with blood brother Yao. Joined by mid-veteran Super and 2 hungry stars of tomorrow, they conquered the Chinese regionals. Now, with DDC and End coming to their aid for the final showdown, they have added 2 deadly new weapons to their arsenal. Welcome on stage, LGD.FOREVER Young. Rejuvenating their roster with 3 hungry rising stars, Victoria, Amy, and Jixing. This team is paving the way for a new generation, led by one of the organization's greatest success stories, influential mid-player Maybe, and featuring TI5 silver medalist XZ. They are packed with potential, gifted with a shot at redemption. This team could strike with devastating force. Welcome on stage, LGD Gaming.
Oh, you got me. That tickled me. That really did. Yeah, no, guys, this is our side of the stage. I mean, I guess you just saw LGD's logo. We got a little confused.
Hey.
This is.
Well, and then the Vici Gaming players are there. Like, which team are we playing for? Like, I don't see a Vici logo. What's going on here?
It can get a little confusing, but this is a rather unique scenario, right? I mean, this is great. I mean, we have got two teams that practice together, the sister teams playing against each other. I mean, I'm assuming they practice together. Winter, is that a foolish assumption to make? Yeah. Okay, he's looking at me funny. Oh, okay.
Go on then, set it straight, Winter. What's the deal?
Correct me.
What's the scoop?
I actually, what I know that when they were teammates and they broke up, they didn't break up on very good terms. Because maybe he was playing with the director previously.
So you think this is more of a grudge match?
I don't know really what happened, but they didn't. Their team didn't work out. So
okay.
And you look at his team right now; they are all new players. And previously, he was playing with like a mixture of new and old players, and all the old players left the team, and he's with all the new players now.
Well, I mean, let's meet them. Let's bring up these new names alongside the director himself, Zhao 8, who has been regarded as the formula for success for a lot of Chinese rosters. But these newer names, I mean, when you talk about the newer names, gods, who is it that jumps out of the page?
I mean, I think the one guy who kind of jumps out as of late has got to be End, who is like the newest name as far as this team goes in the Chinese scene. You've got some real veterans. When you look at Super, he's been around for a long time, had great success with Vici Gaming when they were a powerhouse in the scene. DDC, one of two players to be at every Valve event next to Misery. He's been absolutely everywhere. He's just been one of the most consistent 5-position support players out there. He's one of the legendary support players of Dota 2. But End is the newcomer. He's on loan from Vici Gaming. He's not like a permanent member of this squad, but he's a player who had a great 2016 season under Vici Gaming. He really kind of brought them to the top of the Chinese Dota scene, so he's a great kind of addition to this team who's kind of lacking a big explosive playmaker in one of the core roles. That's what he kind of brings, because Super, very stable in the mid lane, Yao, very kind of consistent, stable in the off lane, but they needed that kind of playmaking carry player.
I mean, you kind of set the scene quite wonderfully here, Winter. You've actually, instead of it being, okay, fun rivalry, haha, we're sister teams, you've got a little bit of a drama, a little bit of a roster shuffle, but then you've also thrown on top of that the fact that LFY, over the two, were the ones that qualified. LGD were in that qualifier as well and didn't get the spot. So let's not forget that. Admittedly, head-to-head within that qualifier, LGD did win, but Forever Young got the spot. And now LGD, by a twist of fate, did manage to secure it over Execration due to various visa issues, but I mean, now it happens. Now they actually have to, battle for redemption, LGD.
Well, when they first formed the team, like Xiao's team, they didn't look impressive at all. They were really shaky. They were not playing very well. But then again, like when they came up to the qualifiers, they improved a lot. Like the director, proving that he can make any team strong. Just set the discipline, set the rules to the team. Everyone just follows his dictatorship, and he just,
He hasn't had long with this team, though. He's only had a couple of weeks with the stand-ins.
I mean, the stand-ins are all players that are really experienced, so it makes it easy for him.
How well can we gauge how they're going to do going in? Because obviously in the groups, LFY had Wings and DC 2-0'd them, and then LGD managed to beat Complexity and Faceless. So,
but I still think LGD would be considered favorites because they are playing with their full squad, whereas Forever Young have two stand-ins.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're actually going to get a great opportunity to hear what Yao had to say. I mean, we actually sat down with a member of LFY and we get to hear their take on it as they come into this one. The Death thinks they may be rather hamstrung by their stand-ins. Let's see what they said with Slacks.
Hey guys, I am here with Yao from LGD.FOREVER Young. How you doing, sir?
感觉还不错吧，然后也是第一次参加 Major， 然后但是这一次的赛制跟之前都不一样，然后感觉挺不一样的。
How do you feel about the format? You okay with it?
就是如果是按照之前的赛制，我们小组赛的表现还是很糟糕的，但是这一次的赛制的话，可以说对于我们来说还是比较有利的，因为小组赛的胜负和名次，然后对于接下来的淘汰赛，其实关于你能走多远，其实影响并不是特别大，所以这一点来说的话，这个赛制我觉得还是帮到了我们。
So I have some questions about your team. You and Zhao, you go way back. I mean, after all, you're like the old school guys, Forever Young. Tell me about that relationship. Are you guys still on good terms? What's he like?
我跟小巴就是在打职业之前就是认识，然后我们是在都是老乡，然后之前在自己家乡参加了一些业余比赛，然后最后决定一起走向职业，然后也一起组建了自己的职业战队，然后开始踏上这条路的。 然后当时也是从10年开始到现在也有6、7年了，然后相互之间也很默契。小巴他的话，是一个非常有责任心，然后也有统治力的队长，然后他可以处理好队内的很多事情，不管是队伍在顺风的时候，还是在逆风的时候，能够指引大家往一个正确的方向去前行。然后这一次的话，我们也是重新组建了这支队伍，LGD.FOREVER，然后因为我们也是打了很多年的选手了，然后也希望自己能够保持一个年轻的心态，所以才取了这个队名。
Well, you had a lot to say about him. What about yourself? How would you describe yourself in such an eloquent manner? What makes you good on this team?
我是就是非常热爱，然后 DOTA 这个游戏，然后打职业的话也是会非常专注，会尽自己的所能，然后希望能够积极的影响队伍和自己，然后就比较正能量一点的一个选手吧。
I think we get that from your games for sure. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty. You guys beat LGD in the qualifiers, and now you gotta go face off against them again. Do we call you guys now? Are you now LGD, and they have to be like LGD inexperienced kids, or what should we? Is that how it works?
事实上，这个分组这个抽签，我觉得是比较糟糕的。然后预选赛的时候，其实在中国区预选赛 ，LGD 它是积分是第1的，我们是第2，然后在最后淘汰，我们是以第1的身份晋级的，然后也没有遭遇到他们。然后这一次在波士顿的正赛，然后第1轮就要面对他们，觉得会比较有意思吧。然后我希望我们能击败他们吧。至于谁是老干爹，谁是小朋友也好，然后老头也好，这个结果说话吧。然后都不会手下留情，希望能有精彩的比赛。
Good to hear. I'm glad you're not going easy on each other. That's great. All right. Well, I know you're cheating on me. We have a translator, and you don't even need it. I'm pretty sure. So how about, can you say something hype for all of the English fans out there? Something exciting about LGD Forever Young? Give us like your, we're gonna win!
We're gonna win! What is this?
That was it. That was perfect. All right. Well, there we go. All right, guys. Well, best of luck to LGD Forever Young coming up in their tournament. And we will see you guys a lot more in the Boston Major. Stay tuned with us and for them.
Yao there saying they're not going to take it easy, and it does seem abundantly clear, just reminding us of what happened in those qualifiers. It's almost like kind of a battle for pride, gods. This feels like it is a big one. Not only is it, of course, to get to the quarterfinals, but there's a lot of unspoken things on the line.
Yeah, two very different teams. Kind of Winter mentioned how things didn't work out with Maybe initially, and it's two very different styles where Zhao 8 plays that traditional captain where he's the guy in charge, he's commanding the team, he's very assertive. And a lot of these new younger teams, like you see with EG, you see it with perhaps LGD as well, they're much more kind of free-flowing. There's no one set person in charge as much.
Yeah, I think for a person like Maybe, you want to give him more freedom. In terms of in the game, you don't want to control him too much. Like you don't want to go, I want you to do this, I want you to go down this route with your item build. You want to give him more freedom. But with the director, he probably wanted to control a lot of things.
So you want to give Maybe more freedom. I mean, we're talking about Maybe and his team. We'd be foolish not to bring up their roster, right? I mean, this is who Forever Young are going up against, and Maybe he's certainly surrounded by some very big names. We mentioned XZ and his presence previously at TI.
He was one of the best offlaners, if not the best offlaner during TI5. Like Tuss was his best hero back then. They still pick Tuss, this team, on the 4-0.
Seriously?
Yeah, this team does it.
And I mean, it felt like we were kind of not getting hung up on Maybe, but is the hype justified surrounding this name, Gods? Is this really someone that we can look forward to seeing watching play?
Yeah, he's, to me, the Sumail of China. He's basically their answer to what he is as far as raw individual skill, ability to put a game on his back when he needs to. He's the full package. He's absolutely amazing. And
another name that doesn't get mentioned all too often is Victoria, right? I mean, Pyrian, you got to see him a little bit. We got to see what Victoria was capable of from the boys of LGD when we were on that desk, or were you not present for that?
I can't remember.
You don't remember? We were singing his praises, definitely.
When was it?
I mean, like a good day one, day
two. If it was
two.
a day ago, dude, it's gone.
I have the same problem. Yeah. I really do. But
he was from the CDEC youth team. I don't know if you actually heard about that team, CDC. They had a youth team. They were the team that won last TI, and they branched out into some amateur, like tier 2 teams, and they got this player on their second team. And he was like learning there, and he became a really good player.
Him and Ame were both picked up from that squad.
Yeah.
So they kind of came over as this package deal, and now they're doing pretty well on the main LGD team with Maybe.
Well, I mean, I'm glad we're talking about Maybe because maybe we have an interview for you. Yes, indeed. Slack's still hanging out with the mid laner. Let's go ahead. You know you've messed up. You know you've messed up when your producer literally presses down the button and goes, that was so bad. I'm sorry, I'm making enemies here in Boston, but I'm going to go ahead and make my apologies while we take a look at this interview. It's Maybe and Slacks, and I'm blushing.
Hey guys, we're here with the legend of LGD Gaming, Maybe. How's it going, sir? Hello. So, here you are at the Boston Major. Who would have thunk? It happened. Tell me what the team was like when you guys found out that you would actually be coming to this event.
本来开始知道自己来不了的时候是很失落的，然后后面突然知道这个消息之后，大家都很兴奋，然后大家都是有些都是在睡觉的过程中，然后就被喊起来，然后很激动，然后就睡不着了那种。反正总体来说就是大家都很兴奋，很期待。
People may have underestimated you. Clearly, from the games that you guys have played so far, you've been dominating. You've been destroying everybody. Can you tell us about that?
我觉得就是可能第一天大家其他队的状态来的没有那么快吧，然后我们应该是放的比其他队更开一些，因为我们本来是没机会来的，但是就是等于是运气好捡来了个机会，然后所以可能大家心态各方面都很放得开吧。
I'd hardly call it luck. I mean, there's a lot of skills in your games. Seems like there's a lot of thought put into it. How do you guys communicate as a team in game? Where do you get all these ideas from?
我们现在这个比赛打的东西基本都是我们在来波士顿之前为了预选赛还有为了波士顿预选赛和其他的一些预选赛所做的准备，然后也没有特别的训练过，然后来到这儿之后打的基本也是自己之前的一些东西，然后游戏里面的沟通也是大家都是比较习惯了那样沟通，所以一切都是比较自然的，我觉得。
Well, you seem to be doing very well, and you guys are the regular LGD. I feel like we should put something on the end. You have the old man in LGD.FOREVER young. I mean, you guys should be like LGD, the new blood, right? What would it be if you could pick it?
我觉得应该是更年轻吧。
That sounds good to me. All right, cool. Oh, you threw me off with that one. That was funny. Shoot. So you're a mid, but a lot of people put a ton of pressure on you, an incredible amount of pressure, and you're able to somehow survive that. Do you have any tips for people playing at home on how to survive being a mid?
就是当中单被别人骚扰或者针对的时候，你一定要喊队友来帮你，一个不够喊两个，如果两个不够就把队友都喊来，总之就是一定要喊到自己能玩为止。
How do you motivate your teammates to come and help you? It's a hard job.
我会告诉他们，你们如果不来，我这把就玩不了了。你们必须要来，你们不帮我，这把就要输了。
Well, good strategy, commonly used by mids. Okay, so just want to know how you feel about the Chinese scene in general, especially here at the Boston Major. There seems to be a very strong presence now. Do you feel like it's a healthy scene?
是的，我觉得中国的 DOTA 是一年比一年更加强大的，不管是从就是新人和老人的替换，还有各种打法方面上，我觉得中国都是一年比一年强的，所以我觉得以后应该也会更厉害吧。
Is it strong and healthy enough to win the major? Will LGD be winning the major despite being the big underdog?
我觉得这次世锦赛国外队和中国队实力差距都不大吧，我觉得大家都有机会，然后我个人还是就是很希望中国队可以夺冠的，具体是哪一支其实我都还好，我觉得可能还是 Miss 夺冠的几率更大一些吧。
An honest answer, but a good one. We are so happy to have you guys here and seeing you kick everybody's butt in the stages, and I hope you continue to have such great success here at the major.
谢谢 Thank you.
Thank you.
maybe they're saying he wants to see a Chinese team lift the trophy. Grand finals are far away, but if it was to happen, it would have to be him or his sister team, LGD and LGD.FOREVER, the two remaining with a chance at the quarterfinals and continuing here in the Boston Major representing China. It's going to be intriguing as well just to see how some of the individual matchups do shape up. And when asked, just before we came back from that video, we did go to the mid lane, and it was very interesting to hear you Gods and Winter just quickly back and forth about what the differences are between these two. Winter, why was it that you chose Maybe and Super?
Because they are polar opposites.
Right.
They play so different from each other. One player is really conservative, one guy is the Razor player, the other guy is the Storm and Tinker player.
And that's it. Does that explain everything?
Storm, Tinker, Invoker.
The other is the Razor and Dragonite.
Razor, Dragonite. He used to play a lot of Alchemist mid. This guy, back when the Alchemist mid was even less farmy.
It wasn't the Radiance Alchemist, right?
It was the Acid Spray. He would go the mech build, the mech Alchemist.
Yeah, the mech Alchemist.
Yeah.
So is there a good and a bad? I mean, surely both the styles that work. I mean, there's evidence of that.
Very different systems within each team and how they play and look to win games.
I would say as a captain, I would prefer to have Maybe on my team because of the meta. The meta favors more of a farm-heavy mid player.
But there are some surely benefits to having a Super on your team as well, Gods.
Oh, and
Consistency?
Super, very consistent, and sometimes he does put the numbers. The highest kill game so far has come from Super. He had a game on Razor where he had 25 kills against DC, so he can pull his weight when it's needed. It's just not what you're always going to get from him. He's one of those players who, if he gets shut down, you don't see the support swarming to help him. Something Maybe talked about where if he's having a rough time, he tells his team, come and help me or I'm going to be useless. Super, it's not that his supports aren't willing. Well, it's more that his supports aren't willing as much to help him.
I think I know what he would do. He would actually move to the other lanes to help the other lanes instead of us, the other lanes, to help him.
That's a perfect way to describe the differences between the two. And perhaps there are going to be some differences on the desk with our predictions. Ted, we're going to start with you. You are rocking the red.
LGD, I watched them in the groups. They look good.
Yeah.
And I thought that they looked like they were a solid team. They looked in form. So I'd have to say LGD.
It is funny that we are giving so much credit to either side when LGD did top their group and Forever Young did bottom their group.
Yep.
I mean,
the thing with me with LGD when topping their group, they had a fairly straightforward path. They didn't have to meet EG for one thing, who was in their group because of their Complexity upset. Complexity, a great team, but I think LGD match up very well against Complexity, and they would have struggled more against EG. EG historically do very well against the Chinese squad, so I think LGD haven't been tested yet. Forever Young knows them well. I just feel like Xiao 8 has a way of winning these big matches. He did it with Big God back when he had this ragtag group of players who were quote-unquote retired. I have just a hunch that Forever Young are going to take a close series.
Woof. One for Forever Young. What about you, Winter?
Do you believe Winter?
I believe him.
You do?
I was going to say roughly roughly the same thing with how much I believe in the director.
Just because you went shirt shopping together or you did laundry and someone put a red sock in.
Oh.
They're putting there I can't wait to wash my white shirts, and then
I think he just left his tie in the wash. I mean, look at it. I'd love it. I absolutely love it.
What did you describe it as earlier?
That tie? I said it looked like he'd torn it off an old lady's sofa.
Like a stylish old lady's sofa, I will add.
Is that a good
I like
thing
it, Parker.
or a bad thing?
I'll take it.
Do you like old ladies' sofas? If you do, you'll love this tie. If you don't...
You're a good salesman, you are. Right, it does sound like the draft is on its way, so I'm going to cut you off. My prediction does go the way I've always been going with Piri, and I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to go LFY. It looks like it's going to be
Wise.
3. Why not?
We have 3 people picking the team who finished 4th in their group.
That
That's
is
the crazy thing.
How often does that happen? How does that happen?
We just believe in the director, honestly.
You either believe in Maybe or you believe in the director, and one's the captain, one's just a mid player.
Wow, look, I mean, the split doesn't represent the result. I mean, first seed going up against 4th, and we do see almost close to 50-50 coming in from and it's getting even closer with Twitter as well. You guys have firm believers that this is going to be a close game. I certainly hope so. We've been treated now. 2 games back-to-back, full 3 series, and hello. All right, Facebook.
What did Facebook
Calm
say?
down,
What was the Facebook?
90%.
Jesus.
Draft is ready, guys. Let's start talking about what we have to look forward to here. Are there any signature heroes that we're expecting to crop up, perhaps a deviation from the norm? Oh, well, here's some questions answered immediately.
Bingo bango. We're most of the way through the draft.
Recap, Ted. Give us a recap.
All right, we've got an Enigma ban and an Ursa ban.
What?
Enigma ban?
What are you?
First ban Enigma? Yeah, what's wrong with you guys? Come on, standard.
I can understand the first ban LC. LGD plays a lot of Legion Commander.
Legion Commander SD and the Silencer Bat. So I guess they picked up the the silencer to sort of stop the back counter, but there's a Nyx assassin out there, so interesting times.
That's what I suggested in the previous game.
You
Remember,
did?
Alex? I said that the silencer is really good with bad against the Nyx. That's the plan here for them. Both teams have very clear strats right now. One is to have very good lanes with the Ogre. The other would have good team fight with the silencer plus bad initiations.
Is it a safe assumption that that's the first time we've seen a first phase Enigma ban?
Yes.
That's a safe one. Safe bet.
Even first Ursa ban in the first stage as well, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of these teams know each other very well, so there'll be like very directed bans against their opponents.
Yeah, they're not going to be banning around whatever the current meta is. It's like they always pick this or they always win with that, so we know they like this and that, so we'll just ban that. Having said that, Shadow Demon is a pretty standard ban, and Alk at the moment, I think, especially if you watch that last series with Ad Finum, is 100% bannable.
Yeah. I mean, Zhao 8 teams always traditionally like to go around and work as a 5-man unit. We'll see very 5-man heavy, be it team fight or push. They want to stick as 5. For LGD, we're more likely going to see like that traditional carry that maybe split pushes a bit more, avoids the 5-man. So there will be a bit of clash of play styles.
Try to outmaneuver the opponents, try to get more farm, be more efficient around the map, getting more items, whereas LGD are just going to be, like Forever Young, it's going to be very team-orientated, play around each other. Just look at the bans. If you look at the second phase bans of Forever Young, they ban out Slug, very good split push hero, and very good at dealing with the Bat Rider, and they ban out the Naga as well. They clearly do not want the LGD main team to be doing like split push, catching them. They just want to fight them head on.
And that's where LGD will be at their best if they can get like a really dual core lineup where they have Ame as well as maybe both on these like farming carries, heroes that can split push, heroes that can be very independent. Perhaps something that can pair like with a Nyx for gank, like the Invoker maybe is still in the pool, something that can partner really well because you don't actually have to join up for those ganks.
Yep.
But
going back for the Nyx, so I've seen them run maybe with the Nyx mid.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm not a big fan of it. Like, to be honest, I believe that if you put maybe on the Nyx, it's like a very wasteful of resources. You don't want that guy to be playing like a space creation role. You want him to be on the big hero.
Yeah, and against a team that's going to 5-man a lot, you'd rather he's playing something that can split push a bit as well. That's not a split pushing hero. Lifesteal.
Lifesteal Nyx though, that is a fighting hero. Very good combination, very scary in the mid game. But then again, you don't want to run the Lifesteal as your single core. You want to have your mid hero that has physical damage, carry potential.
I mean, can't really see them running the Nyx in the mid lane.
No,
with the
not anymore. They need like a TA kind of hero. TA Shadow Fiend, like a carry hero. A hero that can output damage. Sniper is still in the pool, so Sniper would be also a pretty good option here for them. They have the Ogre. Ogre plus Sniper.
Yeah.
Very, very potent.
Turn them into a machine gun.
Hello.
Yeah, this is like what we were talking about. One team is going to be trying to move around the map, split push, use resource very well, and the other team will be sticking together, having heavy team fight. They want to, 5-man down the lane to push out. It's very clear that both teams have very different ways of approaching the game right now.
We haven't really seen the sort of split push style having much success so far at the Major. It always seems to be about fighting rather than split pushing or grouping up. So why would you still go for that? Why do you think that's going to work this time when it didn't necessarily come out on top the other time?
I think it's really important that you believe in your playstyle. Despite it might not be the most optimal, but if you believe it and you execute it, I think that every playstyle can work still.
That was almost like kind of a Facebook quote, wasn't it?
It was very motivational.
If you believe in yourself, you can do anything.
Dude, that's basically the foundation of everything. You have to believe in what you're picking. You need to believe in your captain. Look at Adfinum. They picked Morphling one time in the scrim, and because the captain believes that it will work, they picked it.
You're right. I was making a joke just because it felt very close to the hand script on the wall, like live, laugh, love,
and a picture of a sunset.
Yeah. Something
or
like that.
A crying kitten or something. Yeah.
That sounds about right. Either way, we are still waiting to see what LGD's response are.
Nerves there from the puck haver.
We have seen a puck today.
Yeah.
So you'll have been happy.
And he won, that was like one of
another Sand King.
One of the best puck performances recently. We don't see the hero winning a lot, so that was really impressive.
Yeah, Sand King is LFY's, I think, most played hero, at least coming into this tournament, was say. Like the flexibility where it can play in the offlane as a core, can play in the 4 position as well.
Do they run like Bat Rider mid? If they are going to run an offlane Sand King, then Bat Rider has to be mid. I'm really not a fan of the support Bat Rider we saw the last game.
Yeah. You were trash talking it the whole time, Winter. That's one way to put it. Not a big fan of. You were just slagging it off. Yeah, it was quite impressive. But do you not think that LGD lack a bit of damage here compared to Forever Young? Like Forever Young, you got Sand King, you got Batrider, Jug's going to put out damage.
Their 5th pick, it's maybe Zero. You know it's going to be a Shadow Fiend, it's going to be an Invoker, it's going to be something explosive.
Yeah, okay.
Like maybe even a Tiny could work. They have the IO. I don't know, like something that has a lot of burst and carry potential. Shadow Fiend.
Ban the Razor, what is that?
Is that still OD, right? That's still OD?
Yeah, it's still OD.
Okay, that's still OD. OD and IO. That's pretty scary in the early phase in the laning. You provide a lot of mana and sustain towards the OD, and the OD will just destroy his lane.
Right.
Ursa was banned, I'm afraid.
Stop breaking people's hearts.
Dude.
Oh gosh, okay, there goes the OD. No OD for...
Okay.
Maybe I was looking to force that ban, they may not have even wanted to play it. They did do the IO Shadow Fiend in the group stage. Something which also gives some more minus armor to really help out the Life Stealer as well.
Yeah. I'm actually quite jealous of LFY. Sometimes
there's Super Zero.
That's Super Zero, the Dragon Knight.
Why are you jealous?
Why am I jealous of LFY?
Yeah.
Well, because sometimes in the green room I wish I could ban OD.
Hey!
That was... Okay,
you're on a panel with him tomorrow,
that was a good one.
You're on a panel with him.
Stop! Don't give them spoilers. That was going to be a special treat.
Sorry, I mean, it might be.
But is this exactly what you were talking about, Gods? You know, you were saying that Super and maybe are very different. You said he even pulls out a DK.
It's going to be DK versus flashy mid here. That's
it. That's a perfect way to describe.
This is
Shadow Fiend would be nice. Yeah.
Shadow Fiend, Invoker. Invoker probably not quite as good against like the Bat Silencer type draft, but
I'm thinking like Shadow Fiend or TA. They need like a heavy physical hero right now, and someone that can build BKB, because you want BKB against the Silencer and Sand King.
Okay. And now they've just got a whole 70 seconds to build suspense.
Right, this is where even if you've decided your pick, you use the time to plan out your first TP rotations, your ward spots.
Do we place the warding is like so crucial for especially the off lane. If you get a good ward down, you're going to be able to have a good time in the lane.
So that's what the discussion is happening right now.
They probably know their pick right now. Maybe there's a chance they're deciding between two different ones, but most likely they know what pick they're doing. They're deciding their exact ward spots, who's TPing where, who's using the smoke, all those things.
Interesting. And then in terms of like pre-game rituals as well, did you ever have any winter? Did you ever have any, things you have to do, like magic socks you had to wear, or a particular game you had to play? I know some people like to play Osu or something beforehand. Anything?
No, I just need to make a phone call to my wife.
Make a phone call. Like, if I lose this one, if I go 3-2-2, I'm sorry.
Will you still love me?
There's SF.
Hey, SF.
Woo!
Woo! That's fun. First it's ever the main stage, so.
Shadow Fiend on the main stage going up against Super on his DK, as expected. It's going to be a clash of styles and a clash of sister teams. You feeling good about your predictions, everyone? I just want to see some nods.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Actually,
I like LGD's draft a bit better, yeah.
Same. Okay.
Well, we're going to abandon Chip, but let's go on the LGD side.
Well, it does seem like our panelists have got faith in LGD's draft, preferring that one over that of Forever Young. Our casters are going to be ready for this one, so let's get this underway. Our final series of our second day of playoffs here for the Boston Major is about to begin, and it is time to check in with Merlini and OD.
Yeah, thanks very much, Alex. Indeed, we're getting ready for this final series of the day, LGD Forever Young against the original LGD. I'm OD Pixel, I'm here with Ben Wu. It's the last hope here for China. We've seen the drafts coming out. What are you liking, Ben? What are you excited to see?
I think the Silencer first phase is pretty interesting, and I don't know, Shadow Fiend seems like pretty hard countered by a lot of these heroes. He has a hard time versus the Juggernaut, a hard time, I would say, versus the Silencer, can't really get his ulti off, and of course the Batrider. But can they make the Batrider work out? It is a Shao 8 Batrider. But first, we will focus on the Radiant heroes.
Showing the lineup here, of course. LGD on the Radiant this time. There's a lot of excitement for the crowd, of course, that maybe SF, the real star player and star performing hero that he's known for. We'll see if he's able to pull out quite a performance this game. And, of course, over on LFY, as you said, Xiaowei on this Batrider. Mixed opinions on the panel of this kind of hero in this position. What's your opinion on it, Ben?
It's different with LFY because when Kaka played the Batrider, he was like pure support and he wasn't dual offlane. Like he started off mid. I think Shao 8, he is either going to play way greedier and just a straight up jungle, or he's going to dual offlane. I don't really think he's going to run around a lot and switch in between the lanes as much as Kaka did. So, the panel believed in Shao 8. Shao 8 is widely regarded as one of the best captains in the game, and he shouldn't disappoint here.
What kind of tempo do you expect to see this game between these two sides? Are we going to see a lot of action early on, or is it going to be very defensive play from both teams in the first kind of 10 minutes laning stage?
A lot of action.
Lot of
DK
action.
tends to breed that sort of game when he starts pushing towers, and you never really want to concede towers. You want to be able to protect your neutrals, and that's your first bastion of defense versus those. And DK starts sieging level 6.
And at the moment, in terms of the lanes, nothing too out of the ordinary. Jijing heading to that off lane on the Nyx Assassin. No sort of aggressive lanes coming out from either side at the moment. But this mid lane matchup, as you said, talking about the DK, someone who kind of is going to force that high action
chilling
early on.
He's pulling the Kaka, just chilling there. So most of the games that I've seen him, he likes to duel offlane with Yao a lot. Like Sand King Leshrac was pretty common for him, and just wants to make sure that Yao does have a good game. But this game, Yao's actually just versus 2 melee heroes in the bottom lane. We see Ame and XZ, Ogre and Lifestealer, and that's kind of the dream as a Sand King, where you can't really get zoned out at level 1. Or he's in a fair amount of trouble. He's taking a lot of harassment.
Yeah,
bottom.
indeed, Yao being chased down. Mid lane we saw as well, Zhao managed to get up 5 stacks, actually missed the 6th one, so was able to reset. And indeed, we'll see where Zhao decides to head to next. Jijing at the moment, trying to do his best to slow down En's farm on the Juggernaut. And Victoria actually already making the movement up towards that top lane as well. Stacks starting to be created over on the side of LFY. Jijing eyeing up DDC at the moment, throwing down a fair bit of harassment. Not feeling too scared of this duo at the moment, especially knowing that he's going to have the backup of Victoria in the neighborhood if he wants to try and go for some sort of aggressive play.
I think LGD.FOREVER Young had a pretty good plan with the first phase LC. Like, his LC was very, very impressive, and as maybe said, he just likes the hero. So it's something that's nice for them to take away. Opens up some more picks for them potentially, even though I guess the OD was banned out. But they need to be able to put pressure on this lane. The Silencer is like a pretty greedy hero sometimes, and he's excellent at zoning out one hero, but he loses a lot of value when there's more than one hero in the lane.
Now obviously, though, with the fact that Victoria's headed up to top of the Io to put pressure on there, it's left the mid lane up a little harder for Maybe. He was starting to fall behind. He has caught back up. We keep seeing Xiao kind of heading over to the lane, back to the jungle, making the stacks, trying to make as much happen as he can in this early stage. DDC able to snipe the bounty. Victoria heading him off, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how Xiao 8's back kind of continues on for this game, as we obviously, as you said, saw it earlier in the series where Kaka played it, and it didn't really result to much. But Xiao 8, you feel like this man, he's going to have a bit of a better chance this time making the support back work.
Definitely so. Especially, he's just playing straight greedy, and he knows that Wisp isn't going to come into his jungle, and then Ogre is in full vision of bottom lane, and he's also a little lucky that he didn't get any Centaur camps. Centaurs combined with Hellbears is very difficult, especially for a level 2 Bat Rider, but 3 camps, no Centaurs, he's a happy bat.
Down on the bottom again, yeah. Getting a rest back, yet to hit level 2 on this bottom lane, so the Sand King having to play very, very careful. And I guess, as you mentioned, the fact that Xiao 8's not been down here making this dual lane kind of work out aggressively against LGD, the Sand King's starting to suffer in these early stages. He's not finding as much as maybe he wanted to from this lane. Isn't really being able to do anything in terms of slowing down the farm of Ame, who's currently sitting 15 to 10 on par with the Jug of LFY.
Yeah, not too worried though. Again, the bat just getting so much and just having free farm of his own jungle is pretty crucial for them. And Io's also not been able to play greedy. He's up here babysitting Jixing, and he's not able to pull and get level 6 really early, which is what you want to be able to do. Or stack for the Shadow Fiend, which is definitely important because Shadow Fiend has to do the majority of the damage. The panel was worried about lack of damage, and I am in no disagreement.
Xiao rotating back round towards the mid. Just a couple of stacks of Napalm, keeping maybe on his toes. Making sure that the lane matchup continues to create a bit more space for this DK. Super still on par pretty much with Maybe's SF. His Xiao 8 kind of appearances not seeming to do enough in terms of slowing down Maybe's farm. He's still finding everything that he needs to in this mid lane matchup.
He's doing a lot of small things though. He's kind of threatening mid. And Io, there is no target for him to tether
Could be
to.
he does need Maybe to head over. Maybe should be there in time. Yeah, indeed for the save. Victoria, simple tether across. He's okay. Well, in fact, supercharging in on the mid lane. He's got his eyes on Victoria. And in fact, with the race, they'll just turn it around though. Maybe getting the kill. Victoria's going to survive, and maybe he's even going to get another one out of this.
Wow,
What the hell happened there? I think our observer moved away to just avoid showing that play from LFY because it was not It did not. He just charged straight in there, Super.
Yeah, he got hit by a double raise. DK's tanky, but he, oh my goodness, the level disparity too. Level 4.5 on the Dragon Knight versus now the level 6.5 on the Shadow
this lane got so much harder for Super.
Yeah, he just tanked 2 level 3 raises. He actually went for the level 1 and stun too, so the couple of tower hits hitting him without that extra 3 armor. Wow, that's very costly.
Absolutely, and Victoria, after getting his job done in the mid, helping out, maybe turn that one around, head straight back towards the top lane. XC's turned up as well. They're looking for DDC, and well, they'll continue to chase him down with the Ignite. It's a level 3 Ogre. It's pretty scary here for the Silencer. He'll try and turn it around with the Curse, and coming in with the Blade Fury, focusing Victoria first. They'll lose the Eye, but they have lost the Silencer, so it's a 1-for-1 at the moment, and continues to try and chase down Jijing, turns around with the stun, holds back the Jug. Xiao trying to move across with a Firefly, but Jijing already salving up. He'll be okay. So just ends up the 1-for-1 trade up on this top lane.
And now this mid lane, I mean, Super was not doing that poorly on CS, but now that Shadow Fiend doesn't really require any help from the Wisp, he's kind of free to do whatever they want. Now they can make aggressive maneuvers with their supports instead of actually just trying to shore up their lanes and Xiao 8. No Firefly up for 13 seconds. Doubt he's going to chase up there, especially when the stack timer is so close.
And it really is interesting to see the amount of denies that this lifesteal is getting done on this bottom lane. I mean, checking the SK's level at the moment,
there's a smoke.
Managed to find level 4. Smoking around towards the rune spot, maybe. Eyes onto Xiao, but Xiao with the Firefly back on, off cooldown. He's up to the high ground. Maybe turns around, long raise, 2 raise brings Xiao incredibly low, but they've already lost the Io here. Victoria, the first casualty. Xiao keeps himself alive, will, well, it looks of it, deny himself to the Ancients. So at the end of the day, it's LGD losing 1, and Xiao escaping just by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, he's just a little bit far enough ahead that he could take that double level 7 raise. And in the meantime, bottom lane's been pretty peaceful. Now that the Ogre has left the lane, Yao's able to pick up a lot of levels, almost level 5 on this. Unfortunately, his CS is suffering in the meantime, only sitting at 6.
The push starting to come in from LGD on this mid lane. Bloodlust is SF. Trying to get a bit of damage down off the tower, but Super still holding tight. And as you said, the fact that bottom lane is getting freed up, it's all good news for the Sand King. Top lane as well, even though there was a bit of action there earlier, it's not been enough to kind of shake Jug off his game.
And I'm watching Xiao jungle a little bit. He actually didn't choose to stack at the 7-minute mark. He saw the Centaur camp and just, it was at like 650. He didn't decide to pull. He just went for it, maybe thinking that it's too inefficient if he gets 2 Centaur camps.
And now at this point, I mean, Xiao, are we just going to see him just stay in the jungle and work towards that blink, or can he still offer much in the lanes in terms of coming in with the rotations at this stage with the levels that he has?
I think he has to come in with rotations considering how poorly the lanes have been doing. Like DK can't really exert any pressure on the towers, and Jixing is level 6 at the moment, so if he's not careful, Nyx Assassin can just come in and kill the Bat Rider and steal his stacks. So he will continue, stack up and farm because they have vision on Nyx Assassin on the left side of the map. I did see a scan come out, and it did miss. It's pretty much where Nyx Assassin is right now. Maybe perhaps scared of Silencer +1 ganking the Shadow Fiend, but I was already there.
See if anyone gets a good bring to make any action happen. It's going to be a haste again on Super. Last time with that extra bit of speed, it didn't end up too well for him in the mid lane. So.
Yeah, I joke about it being like an invulnerability rune, because that's kind of how you feel when you have the rune. You're like, I can do anything.
I think Super, he took it too literally, yeah. The first time round. Jixing ready to go here with a bit of a surprise lifestealer movement. They do have this Dire Observer ward up at the moment, and quick pings out. They know that he's in the neighborhood. They may not know that the lifestealer's there. Lifestealer, of course, not showing in lanes, so we'll see how LFY reads the situation, and indeed, it looks like they're well aware of what's going on. They're playing incredibly safe.
Well, they know that he can't get a kill by himself.
Yeah.
Especially on the Juggernaut, there's like no chance. So he has to have someone inside of it. And looking at the bottom lane, XZ is on the bottom just farming alone as an Ogre. So that's a pretty clear sign that Lifestealer is indeed inside of
really
Dire.
Smart scan as well from LFY. They're reading this movement perfectly. They know that he's there. Still, they're pushing out the lane pretty deep with Super. In fact, he's got the haste rune still, so he'll immediately just haste away from the mid lane. And indeed, at the end of the day there, LFY just having LGD's number. They knew that movement was coming in, and unsuccessful gank. And these kind of movements, they do cost for LGD, because it's time off the map where your lifestealer isn't farming.
Ooh, he gets caught out without his rage.
And if he's dying as well, it's going to be even worse. They have the lasso dragging him under the tower. Arme's out, and they may even lose more than move in from end with the Blade Fury to take down Jixing. They've lost 2, and that Lifestealer Nyx Assassin rotation couldn't have ended any worse there, really, for LGD, losing 2 members, the Lifestealer included.
The ranged instant cast DK stun got him by surprise, it looks like, and he was at like 30% HP with no infest target in sight before he was even able to pop the rage, and that gets him much needed levels and some int to the silencer. They really want his level 6 so they can combo with that Batrider ult, although the Blink Dagger is still a little bit of time away, but Xiaowei will get a fair amount of time to peacefully farm up. 10-minute rune about to spawn, no kill rune it seems for maybe.
Just going to be picking up a regen. What kind of a SF build do you think we're going to be seeing this game from him? Is he going to go for the Shadow Blade or anything else first that needs to be prioritized?
I think Shadow Blade's a little bit redundant with the next assassin. They can already get him to set up for the gank. So yeah, he gets caught out by stun, and like by the time he rages, he's pretty much already dead. Just gets dragged into no man's land, and Jixing tries to save him, but despite the help of the Wisp, he will perish.
Yeah, very unfortunate positioning there. Having the lifesteal on the front lines, LFY are going to be decided to punish it. Also in the mid lane, take the tower, but LFY Super was able to get the deny. So continuing to try and do the best at minimizing the lead of LGD in terms of gold in top lane. Jixing could be in trouble. Ends moving forward with the Blade Fury. Has an Omni Slash good to go as well. Jixing trying to get himself out of range of the potential Sentry Ward. And he will, for the time being, avoid the first one, but a second Sentry's there, ready from DDC, drops it down, allows N to finish off the kill.
And one of the main concerns, never mind, bottom lane, Yao.
Yeah, taken down LGD. They will find one in return. As you can have Xiaowei coming in with the lasso, Super with the Dragon Form trying to fight, focusing down, maybe, turns around, throws out of race, but he's down. They've lost the SF, and with the Blade Fury cutting them down low, Arme trying to man fight up against the Juggernaut, and he might just do it one more touch and he'll find it. He's lost Victoria. Arme left behind, but with the armlet, he should be able to toggle his way out of this one. And Xiaowei indeed has to be careful how close he gets, because this Lifestealer could have very well turned around and chomped him down as well. A bit of a messy fight there behind the tier 1. Arme gets out alive though. Overall gold just slightly going the way of LGD, but it's a pretty close trade.
Yeah, I think that LFY had to blow way more ultimates though for that. And gives LGD time in to perhaps rotate in with the Vendetta, which is about to cool down, relocate. I guess Lifestealer needs a little bit more HP before all this is possible, however. But no problem with a Wisp on your team.
At least off the back of that fight, Victoria now with that level 6, so LGD.FOREVER have to be careful of the Vendetta into relocate ganks, and as we can see here, just maybe getting caught on the front line, and the end gets a huge amount of good damage out with this Blade Fury as they're not able to do anything to bring him down through it. Until Arme comes out after the end of it all. Healing Ward at this stage, not enough to outdo the damage of that Armlet Lifestealer. Crucial pickup, and having it this time allows them to do stuff like this. Arme just picks up another with the help of Victoria and XZ. And he's coming forward with the Blade Fury. He's going to try and punish the IO. Victoria, look at the juke, the tether across. He might just live, and he does. Victoria survives. End's now stuck in the trees. Arme and XZ surrounding him. They're going to bring down the Juggernaut again in another bit of action on this bottom half of the map. Victoria will finally pop at the end of it all, but we can see these IO's plays just enabling this Lifestealer to go absolutely ham in these skirmishes.
Yeah, they're having to focus so much on everyone else, and knowing that if Wisp doesn't die, the hero that they're focusing is not going to die. So he is priority number 1. Unfortunately, they don't have any Blink Daggers or a good way to jump him in the back, but that should be coming in just a minute, as Batrider is at 2050 gold right now. He's making the support Batrider work.
He really is, but he does need to make big plays happen once he gets it. The side lanes are getting pressured in. We're seeing this push from Maybe. They took the tier 1, half of the damage down on the tier 2. And then we have it, the item you spoke of, the blink for the bat. Xiaowei has the item ready and waiting. Arme's got the Echo Saber though as well, so he has to be careful with the ways that he jumps in. A failed initiation, and this Lifestealer could turn around with the help of Victoria on the IO and chomp him down in a couple of touches.
They do have Global Silence. It has cooled down already. So should be relatively clean if he can find the jump, and LGD has no vision over there, and with the aid of the smoke, perhaps a Nyx Assassin can break it out, but
it's a good jump in. Immediately onto Arme. The Global Silence is going to mean that Victoria can't help him out at the moment with the tether, and it's not going to come in time. Great execution there from LFY.
Yeah, super easy target. Lifestealer, he thinks he's safe up in front with that armlet and the Wisp behind him, but not expecting that Blink Dagger to be coming out so early.
Moving forward, maybe seeing if they can get anything more though. LGD are here with a full 4-man. Look at the initiation onto the Sand maybe coming in with a few raises, bringing Yao down low, but Yao survives, turns around with a Burrow Strike, and now it's maybe in trouble. He's been kept alive by Victoria, tries for the Requiem, but he's down. They've lost the Shadow Fiend. And LFY, with a very fortunate sequences of events. The first pick off with that bat blink reveal, then following it through for a second, and potentially a third. Victoria did try for the relocate out to save maybe, but he ends up coming back, giving away his own life. In fact, Xiao's not done. He jumps forward. He's looking to chase down Xe as well. Xe will get away. Flame Break, not quite the mana there for Xiao to drop the one out as well, but nonetheless, LFY finding 3 kills, not being punished for it at all. And that bat blink timing was absolutely perfect, man.
Yeah, they wanted to kill the Sand King very early on in the fight, but they didn't actually have sentries to reveal maybe, and they didn't really feel comfortable leading with the Requiem, but they didn't have enough bursts to kill the Sand King. He just turned right back around, stunned the Shadow Fiend, and it's pretty much history from there, as Lifestealer was still in the grave, but Jixing looking around the map, Dire has used Scan. It will ping red, but it will just be the Ogre Magi, unbeknownst to LFY, instead of the payload with the Lifestealer inside.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how confidently LFY can come out on the board now. So you're heading back to regen. Mid lane's getting pushed in by LGD.
And despite the past couple of minutes going pretty well for LGD.FOREVER Young, Yao still does not have his Blink Dagger, and they're kind of waiting for that, it seems, for LFY, because their combo's already very strong with just a lasso and the Silencer ultimate, but imagine that with an Epicenter and a Burrow Strike on top, and maybe he should get a Tome at 20 minutes if he's not level 11 by then. They really could use that level 2 ultimate. And on the flip side, LGD definitely need BKB from Shadow Fiend. You see how easily he's focused down, and they need some counterplay to the silence.
I mean, that's what I was going to say. How do you deal with this combo, the bat blink lasso into global silence?
There's a few ways to deal with it. Firstly is like Greaves, Lotus Orb, Yules, and BKB. I guess Manta too, but Manta's not really going to be like a first or second item for Shadow Fiend this game. But the problem is, like, you need to be able to prevent the lasso from happening, and a lot of that is due to the Nyx Assassin. If you can stand into Firefly with Spike Carapace, then you won't be dragged all the way back into the clutching grips of LFY. So I think it's more important that the Nyx Assassin perhaps goes for something else. I'm not sure what you would go for. I guess a Greaves Rush perhaps on the Nyx Assassin. He hasn't really made signs of going for a Blink Dagger, but it does seem like he needs something immediately to deal with that.
Whatever he goes for, he's going to get a bit of a cash boost towards it as LGD take the top tier 2. In return, LFY find the tier 1 on the bottom lane. They're starting to open up this half of the map as well, around that Roshan pit. Whether any side goes for it anytime soon, we'll be have to wait and see. BKB only 100 or so gold away from maybe. And at that point as well, yeah, Armlet for DK. Super's got that ready for the fight.
That's his first item, though. And I guess the only way for him to catch up is really like Ancient Stacks or surviving the fights. But look at the difference in the mids right now. Maybe it's like 4,000 net worth above, and the position ones are pretty close. But by the same token, Xiao 8 is way ahead of his counterpart.
Absolutely, yeah. Xiao 8 with this play that could have potentially be questioned after we saw a little bit of a lackluster about support performance earlier. He's certainly seeming to make it work this time in this matchup. Final series of the day. As you mentioned, key items coming out from the side of LFY. Yao now has the Blink Dagger on the Sand King, and they're smoked up. They're ready to go. Ready to try and allow these fights to enable Super to potentially catch up as well if they want. But it looks like for the moment being, Super's actually going to hang back. So it's LFY just smoking up with the 4 of them, looking to make something happen with these newfound items on their course.
I think they might have smoked closer to the Radiant Observer Ward. There is a sentry plop down right outside their T3, in between the T3 and the T2, which is kind of trumped by the Observer Ward to the side. So looks like LGD are wise to LFY's ways. And there is an Ancient Black Dragon that gets lassoed back. Are they going to be able to combo with Global?
Taking him down once with the Omni and the Global. They're bringing him down low. There's a bit of a surprise. That could maybe be the high ground with the BKB. The Requiem comes out. Burst down. Yao turns towards Xiao 8. And LFY were not expecting to run up into that, and the pain may not be over yet. Arme looking to chase down N. Can he get in range for the open wound? Still 5 seconds cooldown. Super's there as well. Arme's continuing to move forward. Will be held back by the initial Dragon Tail from Super. LGD, they will calm themselves. They won't go for anything more there. But a very, very impressive bit of play there from Maybe.
That's almost an impossible timing to get for DDC. He tried to global right as soon as he pops out, but I believe if you global before he pops out, he's not going to be effective. So you can see that he's raged before, and like they have like Breathe Fire, they have like Dragon Tail, anything to lock him down, but now they have to chase uphill and maybe not wanting to waste their ultimate. So I mean, it seems like that Ancient Black Dragon just was a huge play for them.
The Black Dragon bait.
Yeah, they had a full lasso on it.
Certainly seeming to work out here for LGD. 10 to 12 though still, even though LFY leading in kills. It's the net worth values that are looking pretty impressive for LGD. Maybe 10,500 at the moment on his Shadow Fiend.
They also have much more physical damage for Roshan. So if they get more ahead, they can do more with their lead. Yao is on the sideline.
Yeah, it's got the epicenter at the ready.
Yeah, there is no
Lasso's back up.
Wisp balls sometimes. You can see heroes in the fog, which is especially important against the Bat and the Sand King, but at the same time you give your positioning away with the Wisp balls, and looks like he's choosing to play it a little bit more safe, headed a little bit to the southeast, just in case one of his cores get caught out.
They are going to go in for this push. No global silence for this defense. Ame already going straight in. In fact, focusing down Xiao with a Fire Blast. They'll take him out. Yao building the epicenter coming in. It's only a Burrow Strike onto the Io though. Victoria falling low. They do drop the Io in return, but maybe pops the BKB. Focuses towards Xiao. Forces the SK to retreat. There'll be a buyback from Victoria. Relocating into the fight to enable Ame to potentially look for more. Stun coming in onto the jump. It's a 5-man Burrow Strike though from Yao. He's popped Io. He's popped the Ogre. Maybe still trying to fight for it all. Falling down low. The global silence goes back off cooldown. They're going to try and tip it up, but Yao, he's there again with the burst to finish him off. But at the end of the day, Yao's flashy plays are not enough. They've lost 4, ends on his way back to the base, and LGD will find the tier 2. There's some baller plays there from Yao.
Xiao 8, that all started off with what he thought would just be able to aggro the creep wave. He popped a flame break down, and then he gets immediately carapissed, and
just look at this Burrow Strike.
That Burrow Strike is so good. 5 heroes, and then the Wisp with the dieback there, and Yao always has the right idea. He goes for the Wisp first every single time, and maybe it looks like he's going to take down. He actually missed a raise on Sand King that potentially could have prevented that disastrous 5-man Burrow Strike, and perhaps save him at the end. But still, LGD, I would say, come ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Yao kind of giving his life there at the end to ensure that he got the kill onto maybe. Burrow striking straight into that Death Requiem. But I mean, you said about 21 minutes in, 14 to 16, a lot of action between these two sides. And still definitely the potential for either side to take it. But as you mentioned, certainly overall feeling slightly in LGD's favor, do you feel, coming out of the laning stage?
Just a little bit, because I think the LFY's cores are way underfarmed.
Like, yeah, you look at Super
is, in particular, struggling. And all this net worth is pretty much just Super being behind. Maybe it's about 4,500 net worth that he's behind on Super. And he especially needs BKB, I think. So he doesn't have to deal with the life stealer like eating away at him, but more importantly, not getting Sunlock from the Nyx.
I mean, as you said, one of the things kind of making up for Super's suffering is the fact that Xiao 8 is looking very good on the support bat. Has the drums now complete as well, so if they do find the potential for a jump in, they'll certainly be able to rip out a member of LGD and take them down. And talking about LGD, they're in the Roche pit. LFY has scanned the movements outside of the pit.
But they haven't smoked. Now this Observer Ward will see Xiao 8. I believe it saw him as he turned that tree in.
That would have clipped him as he comes forward. So they know that LFY are thinking about coming in. It didn't catch out the backup in
Radiant
smoke,
has to use scan. Are they going to run into the left side? Oh,
it's already down. Yeah, maybe he's got it.
They were way too slow with the TPs right there. We only saw 2 heroes, and they only saw 1 hero with the Observer Ward, but they don't want to smoke as 2. How are they actually going to win a fight there?
Smoke on smoke here from both sides. Yijing leading the way. Ame in tow. He's got that life steal already inside of him. He'll move towards Super, but immediately the jump in return with the stuns. The global side is coming out as well. The start to drag back the Nyx assassin, but they can't finish him off. Maybe he's brought in by Victoria. They'll surround on DDC in the sidelines. Silences out. They've lost Yijing. It's a 1-for-1 at the moment, and Manta starting off the open wounds. He's only going to be able to chomp down on the illusions. End will escape. So big ults blown there. Just end up just being a 1-for-1. Super having to hide in the tree line. 10 seconds until that TP is ready, and that is going to be 10 seconds where LGD can see if they are able to get a bit of pressure on this bottom lane.
You can tell the experience difference between the both sides too. I think like DDC is a relatively old player and Jixing's a very new player, and he didn't pop his carapace immediately. Like the dragon popped in smoke, and as soon as that moment happens, you just blow everything just because you need to be able to get the jump. So DDC blows global immediately, and Nyx didn't get his spike carapace off in time.
I mean, this is scary, but look at this push coming in from LGD. It doesn't look like LFY have have the tools to stop. They have an epicenter. Yao starting to build it up. He needs something bigger. Jumps in. Burrow strike straight into the middle. Onto maybe bringing him down low. Maybe cursed up as well. BKB is still on cooldown here for the SF, but he has the Aegis ready for round 2. They'll lose XZ though on the sidelines. They've lost Victoria as well. Zhao will survive. Firefly back up to the base. Yao comes in with a burrow strike once again. The breathe fire from Super. They found 3. Dragon Tail onto maybe as well. LFI will clean up. Triple kill for Super. They'll certainly help him step back into this game, but they did lose the melee racks.
LGD, they wanted to hit that sweet spot where LFI were still waiting for that respawn timer, but they didn't wait out for their BKB. So Shadow Fiend, his first life, he was the one that kind of protecting his entire team, and as soon as he falls, even with a 5-second Aegis respawn, like he lost 2 supports, and very shortly thereafter his life stealer and then his own life. So they need to be able to keep maybe alive, and he needs to be able to keep the Dire Heroes at bay with a BKB Requiem.
And with the momentum of that fight, LF1 themselves going to make something happen with this push down mid. GG has eyes on them at the moment. We'll see in 10 seconds the 2 cores coming back.
He's always scared. You can tell in his mentality. He's like, they've had a couple of Sentry Wars for me before, and he's just not very confident in his movements. He's showing around the map a lot. He's a little bit scared with his Spike Carapace, and it looks like he's just going to go for a safe build and go for the Glut of Hasten to perhaps a Midas into a Scepter, expecting it to go a little bit late. But I think a more experienced Nyx Assassin could have actually dominated this game. He's actually behind Xiao 8 in terms of farm, and is always looking for heroes, maybe calling in for a relocate, but it's still very, very risky. I mean, can they do it?
Yao can maybe play his way around this. Yeah, immediately just sandstorms it goes off.
See, with that, you want to be able to pop his blink at the very least. Like, even if you just hit him and then you miss the stun, at least you'll pop his blink, and then maybe you can catch him out after that. But you know, maybe it's not his most familiar hero, and that's why they target him first with the LC ban.
Yeah, maybe nerves just showing here for Jijing on the main stage. He needs to pull it together though. Single elimination, of course. It's just game 1.
And Yao's, I think, playing very well given the situation that he was in.
This Sand King, he has come up with some massive plays and
very quick reflexes on that blink out too. Xiao 8 scouting around, no heroes in the trees. They're all grouped up. And they catch a whiff of LGD as the Observer Ward. Sees 3 in the mid lane. But let's see, the Nyx Assassin, they know that he's not on him now, but more importantly the Wisp. They don't see the Wisp yet, so they're searching for him first. That's who you want to lasso, that's who you want to Epicenter Burrow Strike. Maybe not waste Omni Slash on him. I think it's better suited for the Shadow Fiend or the Life Stealer. And Life Stealer hasn't built a way to deal with the global. Oftentimes you'll see maybe like a Manta, I would say, is becoming far more common on the Life Stealer, although we usually see it versus the what's the hero? Treant Protector.
The Treant, yeah. Yeah, with the root and such. LGD actually smoked up.
Yeah, they did smoke up under the ward.
They're probably going to be prepared for this. We'll see if they just avoid it or if they want to try and capitalize on it and get themselves in with any sort of a wraparound. At the moment, I'll bring him back. Jug as well.
Super has BKB. They have to 4-step up, so whoever gets initiated on is likely super ready for this.
Radiant have scanned it out. They know that LFI is waiting on the high ground and immediately jumping in. Super's going to move forward. Global Silence will come out. They're going to look to try and they get a good lasso onto Ame, bringing him up to the high ground. Super will BKB, Dragon Form, head back. Yao goes in with a 2-man burrow strike. They're bringing the large team down low and Ame's out. He's the first casualty here and LFI aren't done. They'll turn towards XZ. Xiao 8 jumping forward, seeing if he can make anything more happen out of this one. Victoria's out to the south. Yao moving forward. He's going to jump in. They've still got the detection on the side of it all. Jijing turns around with a stun, but he's in trouble as well. The Sandstorm comes through, end with a final touch, bricks up the triple. Super and Xiao finding the 4th. Victoria on the side of it all. And it really feels like these last 5 minutes, it's starting to swing all in favor of LFY, even though they lost those racks early on the bottom lane.
Yeah, that fight was a lot of surprise with the 4-step. Like, the Life Stealer, he has to take a few seconds to like walk to the DK as he gets 4-stabbed down the cliff. And then on top of that, the BKB, which he just picked up. I don't think there's any way that they could have really seen that coming from him. And they thought they could take the fight. I don't really blame them for that. I guess you could like expect the timing, but they feel a little bit pressured at least to make some plays perhaps before the next Roshan respawn, especially when they possess such a great lead before. But, you know, the later game goes, Life Stealer isn't going to scale up as well against the Jug.
Just look at this as well. Super, he gets forced into what seems to be an awful position to be in, but just the army of the BKB, right, he's out of there.
The Flame Break pushed Ame back up the hill after the stun from Yao. So, like, Yao and Xiao 8
Here's the man himself, Xiao. A perfect composure and understandable as well with the amount of experience this man has. Turning up to a land like this, he's absolutely in his element. He's not going to feel out of place at all, and it's showing here with this Batrider performance so far in game 1.
Yeah, even the play calling and the teamwork is much better from LFY at this point. Like they aren't able to burst anyone down with the Nyx Assassin stun. They aren't really able to protect Ame on the lifestealer. Some great individual play, but their teamwork and their chemistry is a little bit lacking compared to their sister team.
Waiting around the Roche pit again. Still not yet to hit the minimum timer. Drop a ward down. And we can see LFY.
How long are they going to wait?
I mean, it's not even hit the minimum time yet, so they're not going to know when it's going to be back up as of yet.
So Dyer's use scan. Looks like they don't have a smoke, but they do have the gem up. This time it is on Super, and Super has picked up his farm a lot and picked up a lot of armor. So Lifestealer doesn't really want to target him. Like if you see him out in front, you kind of just want to ignore him and go to the back line. But you need to pop your rage early so you don't get stunned and just die. So it's a tricky situation for the Lifestealer, who has to rely a lot on the Nyx Assassin to set things up. Get him in a good position and stun lock Hero so that he can burst him down before his first rage is over.
Absolutely, as you mentioned, Super. He didn't have the start that perhaps he wished he did, but he has already found that point where they just can't burst him down in an initial jumping. If he gets the chance to BKB an armlet, he's going to survive. And LGD won't be able to find the kill onto him. They could try for the heroes around him, but as we're seeing with these fights continuing each and every time, LFY seem to have the better calls, better team play.
And better team play items. Yeah. Juggernaut has a BKB on himself. That's not usually like a second or third item.
BKB and Manta, it's incredibly defensive.
Yeah, but all they need to do is prevent Nyx Assassin from really stunning them. Ogre, it's an Ogre without an Aether Lens, so he can't really stun lock people, and if you were doing that, you'd probably gamble a little bit on luck, which isn't ever something that you want to rely on. So it's all in the Nyx Assassin. If he can't burst down someone, they'll all pop their BKBs, pop their global, and just run at LGD, burst down the IO, kite the lights to his rage, and it's history from there. So if LGD can equalize it 5-on-4 in exchange for all their ultimates at the start of the fight, I think it's then it's kind of even for them.
I'm talking about BKBs. Xiao has his ready for the next fight, so suddenly this hero that you're potentially looking to counter with the early Nyx Assassin pick in the draft is now kitted up to be prepared for what you have to answer to this bat.
Yeah.
So Jijing's game's going to get even harder now, and he's already starting to struggle a little bit in this matchup.
He's useless versus BKBs, unless you get the stun off before BKBs, which we have not seen yet from Jijing. And Xiao,
he's got to be careful. Bat. Yeah, he's got that
close.
He's got that gem on him, Xiao. Jijing has to be careful how he reveals himself in this lane at the moment, just sapping up some of the XP, hiding up the teammates of LFY. And LFY as well, we've seen ever since kind of the 25-minute or so.
Another smoke.
Yeah, consistently moving as 5. They're not letting themselves get caught out by any sort of relocate gank, any setup from Jijing with the Vendetta, Impale. And they themselves are the ones playing aggressively, moving over to the LGD's half of the map. And this Dire Ward, it's allowing them to do so. They've seen LGD move up to the high ground, and he's the perfect jump in this ward, giving them the intel that they know, to know that Ame is on his own, locked down by the lasso. That's going to be the Lifestealer out of it, and they're going to even find more of this Omni Slash from End. He's not messing around, chops down Jijing. End now godlike at this state of the game, and it just feels like LGD have just fallen off whatever momentum they had off the start of the laning stage, Ben, and how do they even start to come back from this? They're falling behind heavily.
They need to get Roche. I think that's what they were eyeing for, but they just have no map control right now. LFY have way better wars around the map. They have gems, they have mass BKBs, and you can tell how safe of a team they are. Like, as soon as he's done, they just all pop their BKBs. They're like, screw it, I'm not going to get stunned by Nyx Assassin. This guy has to die immediately. And I mean, you can try and outpush them, but Shadow Fiend with the Wisp.
They're doing it. They are trying for that second set of racks in the mid lane over in the Dire base. And they're going to lose that of their own mid. Melee racks are down. They've lost one, and then now TPing back. He's ready to try and stop this, put an end to this rack coming in from Maybe and Victoria. Look at the tier 3 at least, and will be relocated back out.
Can Victoria, he use a TP trick perhaps?
Is he going to try for it? He could try for it. He's got it in his kit.
Nope.
Nah, he's accepting his fate by the looks of it. Victoria heads back and will be taken down. So at least with the rat, they do get the tier 3. They finish off the range racks, but it does cost them the melee racks in the middle. But do you feel that was potentially a loss anyway? So that kind of play, you just have to go for it, Ben. Find something at least in trade.
I think it means that they're not confident in their team fight right now. If you're confident in your team fight, you take that fight. You're like up your T3, but Yao has just consistently been causing them so many issues. Nyx has constantly been a non-factor in these fights, so I think it's the right play from them. And perhaps this will be the fight that they're looking for. XZ's smoke pop. Xiao8 has no idea except that the ward was just placed down, and now he has to be a little bit wary, and he does not get the stun.
Immediately, Xiao8 gets the BKB and the lasso off. He keeps himself safe, gets back up to the high ground. Arme trying to move forward with the rage, but he gets no sort of killer lockdown with that initial movement, and now he's got to back up. But the jump forwards there. Yao with the epicenter, bringing Arme down low. He's stunned up, left alone, and that's the lights it out for 70 seconds on the sidelines. N chops down one. He's got the diffuser blade charge onto maybe. Toggling it off here with the Manta style, trying to run himself away, but N continues to be persistent. Yao's there with the bow strike. Maybe pops the BKB. He'll try for the Requiem, but N with the blade through, avoiding initial damage, and they'll find the kill with Super's physical damage. They've lost 3 yet again. LGD now being doubled in kills by LFY. LFY, they're also going to get the Roshan, and this it's just gone immensely downhill here for the Radiant Ben.
They had a really good chance of winning that fight, but Xiao8 was too fast with his BKB. He BKB as soon as the Nyx blinks in, and then they all pop their BKBs, and Nyx just like as soon as that happens, you know that you've lost the fight. But you know, maybe he's trying his best. I think there's a big skill disparity between some of the members of LGD and Jixing. He has to be able to get these initiations, and it's just super tough. They're always ready for it. They know that if he misses a stun, then they're gonna lose the fight. It's not like a game where you can pop your BKB like too early. You know, sometimes there's that like, oh god, I popped my BKB too early. We need to get out. But like in general, if they see the Nyx assassin anywhere, they'll just pop their BKB, and that becomes a lot easier after they have the gem. So. I don't know. If they have superior vision, maybe, but now they have 0 observer wards up on the map.
LGD certainly being pressured into a corner. In terms of base defense, Jixing obviously be looking towards that Aghanim Scepter. He's just over halfway there in terms of gold. He's almost certainly going to need it for the next time that LFY come in, so they've got at least something to help against this push that's getting bigger and bigger. And now with a butterfly complete, you've got both this Dragon Knight and Jug that can just head up to the high ground, hammer down on the towers, and feel confident in the backup that the rest of their team has to jump in at any chance that the LGD themselves try and look for a fight on the defensive.
Yeah, Yao is clearly the more experienced player in this head-to-head matchup and just been involved in a lot more kills. If we could see like stun duration, I'm sure Yao would be like way ahead of the Nyx, despite Nyx having 2 stuns and Sand King only 1. And yeah, and this game is... They've also have not itemized against a Silencer. Like Silencer is... he was first pick, so you know what you're going to be up against.
Yeah, in the first
phase. And Shadow Fiend's the only one that has anti-silence items. He has the Manta and the BKB. But it's really like the supports and the offlaner that really need the items to deal with the global silence. Like you need to be able to catch your spells in the team fight before you die. And Nyx Assassin, I'm not sure what he's going for with his Ring of Health. It could be Aether Lens, but I don't know. I think it's a little bit late for Aether. It could also be a Lotus Orb because he already has an energy booster. I'm not sure which one he's going to go for, but I talked about it like before he got the Blink Dagger. It's like, okay, he has the Blink Dagger, but now what? Like, if you're going to get the Blink Dagger, you have to hit your stuns. If you're not confident that you're going to hit your stuns, you go anti-global build so that you can actually do something before they get their BKBs.
Xiao8 leading the way here. He's got the eyes on them as they come up to the high ground. Underneath this ward, immediate jump in onto poor old Jixing. He's been having a tough old game, and LFY making sure that it doesn't get any easier. Fair bit of kind of utility is expended for that though. Xiao8 did pop the BKB, and Global Silence was used.
They're always safe though. That's their style. Like he'll BKB on every initiation. They'll plop global. They'll like overkill with Omni Slash just to make sure that people are dead and they don't lose unnecessary heroes. It's always been a characteristic of Xiao8 teams, and like even that jump, like. If they didn't have that ward up there, I'm not sure if they would have gone for that kill. It's like it's almost 100% chance if you actually have vision of them before the jump, and they go for the very, very safe plays. And the only way that would have been stopped is if Nyx hasn't got his blink off, and he has not had the most flashy plays this game. He hasn't been able to outplay LFY at all.
Push coming in on the bottom, fortification out from LGD. XZ is coming out to the front of it, warding back LFY. Looks like it'll be enough because they have to head back up top. The push is coming in from LGD themselves. Arme, maybe, and Victoria heading in onto the tier 3. Super and Yao coming forward. Yao with the Burrow Strike. Usually to lock down onto maybe. They'll walk it off. Keep themselves alive. Yao looking to chase this one down. Jumps forward. Maybe actually pops the BKB. Turns round, forcing Yao to head back. It's a BKB charge down for maybe. He will get himself back to base safely. But at this moment, it really is LGD just looking for any opportunity to go for the split push. And do you feel that is the best way for them to play at this stage? Can they not just get ready for a full 5-on-5? Are they just too far behind overall?
I think you need an Aegis in the Shadow Fiend or a Lifestealer and able to be able to win the fight. You need to be able to survive their first volley of ultimates. Like, they blow all their BKBs, the Global Silence, and the Lasso generally throughout the first couple seconds of the fight. If you can survive that, then LFY have nothing left to fight back with, and then you can kind of roll them with your second wave of Rage, with Shadow Fiend just right-clicking everybody down, and your supports can actually cast spells because they're not under an effective Global Silence. So I think that was not the fight for them to take. Like, Juggernaut could easily just Rambo in and kill everyone, lose his life, respawn back, and then just end the game right there. So it's a potentially game-ending decision for LGD to take that fight. So I think waiting closer to the next Roche, waiting for a smoke approach, waiting for another split push opportunity where they can limit LFY's numbers is the best avenue to victory.
I mean, I guess the question is as well, Ben, we're obviously looking at the net worth board, and amongst all the chaos, maybe an Ame are still in pretty fantastic positions on their 2 cores. It's just the other 3 members falling far behind in reaction to the counterparts of LFY. Can the Lifestealer and the SF be enough to carry LGD through this game against LFY's heroes?
Not if they constantly get stun locked without any help. So I guess the Wisp needs to be able to save him out. Oh,
Jijing's found himself a bit of a pickup here with the help of Ame and of relocating as well. They do take out Xiao 8. This time, Jijing with a good jump. Immediate stun, no chance for Xiao 8 to react.
What happened to the gem? Oh, okay. So Jixing actually picked up a gem from that engagement. I'm not sure how he got the approach on Xiao 8, but that's a big loss. They need to pick up another gem immediately, and you see LFY do that. Like, even if they can't pick it up immediately, you still want to start that respawn as soon as possible. So now Next Assassin, now he knows, okay, global is an issue. Now he goes for the Lotus Orb, which is really important. It's extremely important for him to do it. He could also, I guess, get a BKB, but this way, if he doesn't think that he's that important, he can also cast it on the Shadow Fiend or the Lifestealer, because they're the ones usually getting lassoed in the team fight. They're the ones that can potentially reflect an Omni Slash, which would be a big play. He can salvage all his early game and mid game mistakes if he just Lotus Orbs 1 Omni Slash, I would say.
Super picking up the blink, maybe. Demon Edge, 2.2k towards the, what I'd imagine to be that MKB for the SF to help deal with N's Butterfly. Mate, it just begs to be seen what he goes for next. Starting to stockpile the gold. Is there any item in particular that you feel that will massively benefit the Lifestealer in this match?
It's tough for him. He only has 1 item slot left. You can replace your Echo Saber, but it's a tough call. Like, if you want to go more tanky, you can go for Heart. It's not a common pickup, but he kind of just needs to survive, so maybe he can do damage. If you want to go for anti-BKB, you go for
I was going to say, does he need a BKB himself, in fact? Is it enough to rely on Jixing's Lotus Orb to help him through the Global Silence, through the Rage?
The thing is, I'm not confident in Jixing's initiation this game, so Abyssal wouldn't be the best choice.
Talking about initiation, Xiao gets the perfect jump in onto maybe, starts to drag him back. He's going to be Lotus Sword by Jixing, trying to help him out, but the Pro Strike comes through and they've lost maybe. Down for 70 seconds, Ame trying to turn around, focus Super, but Super, he has too much armor. Ame tries to the TP out, but he gets stunned up. They've lost 3 again. LGD losing these fights where Xiao 8 finds the perfect jump in, and there's nothing that they can do in return.
They're using all their smokes to perfection, really, and yeah, just killing maybe like that with no counterplay. Like, Wisp can't relocate out because he has nothing to deal with the Global Silence is just hugely problematic. And you mentioned like the support being underfarmed. In this game, it matters a lot.
Ooh, Buyback's coming out here, and will be stunned up and shoved to the side as well, trying to keep it alive. Maybe focusing down onto Super, but Super is too damn tanky. The Omni Slash comes out, but it was Lotus Orb there. And in comes the epicenter though from Yao, bring them down low. Victorious out, will Buyback to bring himself back into this fight, maybe turns towards Yao. They'll find the Bat Rider at least. They're moving forward for more. Super's BK being trying to get out there with the TP for the jump, of the race from maybe find Super. They'll find also the Silencer DDC to fall. So they do get the triple. They did have to expend a fair few buybacks there on LGD, as we can see. 4 buybacks now on cooldown, but they hold on with pretty much the first fight where they've come out in terms of numbers in what feels like pretty much the last half of the game.
And really unfortunate for LGD that it's almost a maximum Roshan respawn. It's like 250, so they would have loved to have an Aegis, especially to make up for their lack of buybacks right now, but I think they just go for it. At least force the buyback out of LFY.
But they don't have any buybacks available at the moment. LFY cannot buy back.
You got to YOLO it, dude.
They're without
you
3
go
heroes. This could be a nice little opening to find an extra bit of a bounty here.
You play to win, not to not lose. If they back off right now, you're playing to not lose.
LGD now certainly going to come in and eye at these racks. There will be a fortification. LFY, can they actually hold on to this? 2 members down. LGD being a little timid. They know that if they lose cores at this stage with the buybacks and cooldown, it's going to be game over, and they are going to go for the risky play. They're going to be backing up, respecting the fact that LFY are going to be back in the game.
They don't have that great of vision up the hill. Like the Sentry Ward immediately takes out the Observer Ward. Xiao 8 will get the he will get the vision on it, and it was a little bit risky. Like, it was close to nighttime. Sand King can lead in with Epicenter. They have smoke on Sand King too, so they were completely ready. And then as soon as he burrow strikes Epis in, you buy back on your Juggernaut, you TP in, you destroy them. So yeah, it was a little bit risky. I think they could have pressed it for maybe a couple more seconds, but realizing they could have lost the game right there probably scared them back. And LFY will smoke up as they try and see if Roshan is up, and it's not.
And we're seeing Xiao 8 just getting bigger and bigger. Shiva's guard complete as well. Finding for these engagements. Xijing actually playing around down bottom. Does it high up Xiao 8? Had Arme inside him, but not feeling confident enough to jump out and go for the kill.
So he's going for Abyssal on the Lifestealer. You asked what should he go for before. Okay. So he seems like he needs more damage, or at least more lockdown during the BKB. I just don't think that he's able to do that much damage just because he's focused a lot. But at the same time, if they focus maybe and he doesn't do enough damage, they can just kind of ignore the Lifestealer. So he still wants to remain like a potent threat in most of the fights. And another member of LGD also has a way to deal with the Global Silence. It's the Ogre Magi with the Guardian Greaves. You usually see it on the Wisp, I would say, in this situation, but Victoria has died 11 times in this game and does not seem like he's going to be able to get out of that silence at all.
Understandable why they're focusing down Victoria as well. I remember seeing him in a series in a group stage playing both Oracle and Io, and this man, if he's given the chance to, he pulls out amazing saves. But this game, LFY is certainly knowing how to play around it. One lane, Xijing has the eyes onto Yan with the jump out. They'll take an immediate kill. That's actually sanking out 80 seconds, and he does not have the tools for a buyback. He's still 700 or so gold short, and this is just around when Roshan's going to be respawning.
Yeah, Xijing has been his last 5 minutes. Like the Lotus Orb Reflection on the Omni Slash, like the 2 picks that he had, one on Xiao 8 on top, one on Yao on bottom. These have salvaged the game for them, and LFY hoping perhaps that there was a Roshan respawn, but now it's almost been 10 minutes. Both teams know that Roshan has to be up.
I mean, the question is, can LGD take it before the Sand King's back?
I think they have to capitalize on this somewhat. If they leave the pit too much, then they're just going to concede Roshan themselves. Like, the Juggernaut's very farmed. He can take it out quite easily. And maybe they're waiting for a smoke. I'm looking at the chicken. Radiant Chicken is just picking up a gem right now. So no gem on the possession of LFY. So Nyx is actually much more potent when you have no idea where he's coming from.
I know that the Roshan's up. Illusion from Maybe scouts it out. LFY, 20 seconds in Yao's back in. So when the Roche fight does kick off, both teams with a full 5-man alive and ready to enter the pit.
Yeah, they have a smoke ready on the Ogre in case they want to make a move. This is one of the most crucial moments in the game, and especially with no buybacks on LGD. They need the Aegis, and they really cannot concede LFY because they can just throw bodies at them at this point. And looks like there are 2 Observer Wards in the mid, and there isn't great vision by LGD. They have 1 on the southern side of the map, but LFY, they have much better coverage of the Roshan area. And let's see, the Sentry Ward does not scout out Xijing yet. They need to have a good clue of where the next assassin is, but 2 cores are already just taking down Roshan. Aegis and Cheese will go to LFY.
Absolutely. And the speed that they take it out, no way that LGD get there in return. They're trying to find something in trade at least, as you can see the pressure coming out in the top lane from them, but LFY already starting to back up. They're going to be able to hold this defense with that Aegis and such that they've just picked up. And again, LGD just backing up, playing it safe. Probably playing around these timers as well. We're seeing 1 minute and a half, and then the 4 members will have their buyback back off cooldown. The money's there for the SF. Maybe's got that ready. Xijing as well will have the money. Victoria's very close. Arme just needs an extra 1,000. So this last kind of minute or so is going to be the true rocky period here for LGD.
The lanes are in pretty good position, though, for LGD. So I don't think they can actually force the fight in the next minute. I guess it has to be like in the next 30 secods, or else it'll cool down by the time the fight engages, and then he brings down his HP to 0. And just need to push out mid a little bit more, and as you mentioned, just wait out that buyback, just probably another 40 seconds at this point. But Bad Rider is very farm. He has a Shiva's Guard, so they're kind of well suited to deal with this massive physical damage that Life Stealer and Shadow Fiend will have trouble piercing through. Combine that with the Butterfly and the Juggernaut. I guess there's the MKB already countered that, and then the AC up on the DK. That's a lot of armor.
Yep, and then the double damage as well on ends, if he's able to find a use of it here in this next just under a minute or so.
Yeah, they took down the Observer Ward though, so they know that they're around in this area and know that they also don't have buybacks for 30 more seconds.
Let's see how much LFY can get done here.
So there still is a T2 up. So if LFY like take the bottom set of the racks, it's not the worst thing in the world. They could wait until the Aegis expired if they consider that a better opportunity for them. And on the flip side, LFY don't actually have any T2s up. So if they push the top lane and attempt to go for a base race, then things could get hairy.
They're losing racks incredibly quick here on the bottom lane. LGD, they'll put the fortification, but no sign of sending heroes down here, so it looks like they're just going to let those ones go. And LFY, they're moving in for more onto the tier 4s. LGD, they need to do something in reaction. At the moment, maybe and Victoria continue to push up the top lane, but they've lost one tier 4. And LGD looks like they've just kind of banded up top now. Arme's going to jump in. Now maybe will be brought back. They'll pop down the silencer. BKB's coming out from both sides here. It's XC, the first casualty on LGD. The epicenter coming through, bringing Arme down low. He keeps himself alive with the FS. Finally dropped. He's out for 100 seconds. Maybe as well. He does have buyback in the SF. Victoria buying back as well. They've got to hold this defense. The 3 members LFY still pushing into the base. Super jumps forward. Dragon Tail onto maybe. And coming across as well. GG tries for a stun, but it's not going to connect. And just moves around and pops the Mantis though. Continues to focus down the base. Yao comes in with a bow strike, catching out both Victoria and maybe. Maybe turns towards Yao. Yao's going to be taken down, but he's got the Aegis ready for round 2. GG trying to keep end off the base, but he Blade Furies hits the Ancient, and it's all over. LFY, LGD Forever Young take game 1.
That was a cool maneuver at the end. They wanted to kill the silencer before the fight even started, but Xiao 8 with the quickest lasso on Ame. Like, Xiao 8 played out of his mind this game, and it's on, I think, a harder role to make a big impact in. And he's the captain, so he just has to do so much for his team, but he didn't disappoint.
I mean, that's the thing, Ben. As you said, there was kind of that point where it just became apparent that Xiao 8, his kind of command and his lead was just evidently better there in that game than LGD's.
And the experience of the off lanes.
Yeah.
Like, compare Yao's performance, I think, to Jixing. Although he did play well in the 20 minutes, Yao, I think, delivered a stellar performance throughout the entire 50 minutes of this game.
So what could have LGD done differently there, do you feel, to kind of stop that slip away happen where there was that moment about 25 minutes in where LGD Forever Young just took absolute control of the game?
1 is play around the Nyx better, 2 is hit stuns on the Nyx, and 3 is itemize earlier against the Global Silence. They itemized like starting at like 30 minutes, which is just way too late. The core's already at least maybe started at like 15 minutes thinking about, okay, how do I want to deal with Global Silence?
Oh, very high octane game. All started to fall apart though for the LGD main squad. I'll be able to bring Alex in and the panel to hear what you guys have to say about that first match here between the last 2 remaining Chinese sides in the tournament.
Yeah, so, and I mean, it's kind of crazy, isn't it, that we're sitting here, not only are the predictions favoring LFY, the series is, and this is the 4th seed. I mean, like, all the other 4 seeds went out with 0, nothing to show for it. What's different here?
It's Ben. What do you think? What is it about LGD and why? I mean, I'm just the play-by-play. I'm not the analyst.
Sorry, that was funny.
It could be LGD.FY's group is much stronger than expected. They also had some much tougher opponents, whereas LGD, look at the opponents they had to face. And on top of that, these 2 teams know each other very well, so even though it is a 1 and a 4 seed, it might be like a much closer match in other games just because they're so familiar with each other. So that's my speculation.
There we go, Alex.
Thanks, Owen. Thanks. Appreciate that. We're back with you guys for the next game of the series. I do love you. We'll be back. And for now, we are going to be discussing this one. The LGD battling versus their sister team. And the analysts believe that Forever Young, albeit technically the team beneath LGD, the team that did come through the qualifiers. You're shaking your head.
I said LGD. I'm not going to cop out and claim that I actually meant LGD Forever Young. I was going to say that.
We jumped ship. We wanted to join your team.
Well, no, you were like, oh, I don't know, but you guys didn't change your mind. So, I mean, what a weird ending to that game. I mean, we all thought this was going to go on for quite a long time. It looked like it was going to be like, oh, no, we want to fight back up, very cautious stuff, because that's what happens. You get jumped, you lose a fight in the wrong place, and the game is over. So It was. I thought it was close at points, but I thought the Nyx didn't quite have the impact that I was expecting.
He talk about jumping on enemy. He was
timid.
He was not doing his job at all in this game. Like he was just basically.
The nerves showed.
Yeah, I think he was very nervous. Somehow, like you kind of expect a player that qualified to or arrive in the Boston Major to be having a much better performance than that. But he's a new player, so maybe his nerves got to him.
So there was just clear evidence from your perspective of not only mistakes but poor decision making as well.
Or lack of decision. Like there was lack of moves. It wasn't like they were making bad decisions. It wasn't that they were making...
Lack of understanding of his role. I don't think that the team had problems like moving around as a unit, but it was just one piece of the puzzle that's not functioning. So it really didn't allow the relocate to shine. They had relocate, they had a lifestealer invested in the Nyx. They didn't really find many openings with that.
Yeah, there was just towards the end there was a moment when the Batrider was just on his own.
3 seconds.
Nyx was right there, and we're waiting, and we're like, nothing. It was just kind of like that. I think that momentary hesitation or that doubt. Remember, of course, we were seeing everything.
Yeah.
They were lacking vision for a lot of that game, so maybe it was uncertainty. He's thinking, I don't want to make a mistake if I jump in here and I get killed, and the lifestealer gets killed, and people relocating, they get killed, and it was my call. Maybe it was the wrong one. So
fearing to make a mistake is actually in some ways worse than than making a mistake because you're not trying to do anything.
Waiting for a succinct winter wisdom there.
Sometimes making a mistake is better than the fear of making a mistake.
Fear of failure is a failure in itself. There you go. You can use that one.
Wow. That is why you join us for the Boston Major. Life lessons as well as some cool data. Yeah, sure. And you get to see fabulous pink shirts. All right, let's have a look at that scoreboard. Let's have a quick look, because it is, of course, Jixing who we were focusing on. You can see his score doesn't necessarily reflect fantastic stuff. But if you look for the positives, 28 assists for one, 29 for the other. LGD.FOREVER Young, they took that close to 60 minutes, and it does show that score.
Yao just played brilliantly after the laning phase.
Yeah.
He had a very tough laning phase. Maybe he could have played better earlier, but his experience definitely showed after that. There was like one play in the bottom lane. He had no dagger. He just ran into the enemy, with no dagger. He knew that his team wanted to start a fight, and he needed to give vision to his team. And he somehow didn't die. He got his Sandstorm, and he got he was at 1 silver of health, and he got his Barrow Strike off, and they won the fight because of that. That's something you would see from a very experienced offlane player.
And I'm sure some credit is also hailed towards Xiao 8 as well. He's given the name director. I think it's worth recapping that. We do keep kind of referring to it.
He has a very good script.
Yeah, well, can you expand upon that? I'm sure there are viewers who are sitting there going, I don't understand. Why is Xiao 8 the director? What is this script you're referring to? What's the reputation he's garnered in China?
Well, traditionally, forums, right? the Chinese forums always talk about the players kind of as actors, where they're performing plays, and initially it was somewhat negative because they would often when they were throwing games or losing them,
they would call you an actor when you do something really bad.
You're an actor if you mess up.
Because you're acting, you're not doing your job. You're acting. You're failing on purpose, so they call you an actor.
But the director kind of put more a positive twist on it, where it was basically his script as far as any of the games back when he used to captain LGD at TI2. They're one of the big powerhouses there. He always had this script where he basically
lose the lane, win the game.
Yeah, exactly. It always felt like they were losing the game, but they would find a way to win, which was just that game. That game felt like, LGD took a lane of racks. You looked at the net worth, the SF's way on top. There's not much farm on. The Dragon Knight was getting his ass handed to him. He had 6k net worth to maybe 11k net worth. It was not a good game for Super, but it didn't really matter. And
still, it works out for Forever Young. Must be doing something right. Perhaps to show us what was going so right for Forever Young, Purge is standing by.
Hey guys, now that you spent about 5 minutes talking about why Nyx played bad, I want to start off with at least one great play that he started. This was at the Tier 2 bot push where LGD was pushing onto LGD.FOREVER Young. The important thing to focus on is Batrider here shooting out a Flame Break, and we also have a Nyx Assassin down here. If you ever want to be extra special, you can focus on the little spiked Carapace right here. So as soon as the damage is done by Batrider to him, he can pop Spiked Carapace, which guarantees a stun on Xiao 8. He was supposed to actually jump away using his Blink Dagger, but as soon as he takes player-based damage, he can't do that anymore. So this is actually a huge mistake by Xiao 8 because it allowed LGD to actually initiate on them rather than Yao going in first. So right off the start of the bat, they don't even have a Flaming Lasso, a great disable that could possibly limit what maybe does damage-wise, but eventually the big moment is that Yao disengages, and DDC here was able to actually use the Earn Charge, which is going to keep Yao higher HP so that he can reinitiate multiple times. Super actually didn't have his ultimate just yet, so he was in a bad spot, but the amazing play there by the Sand King. Now his Burrow Strike is kind of a line, so he pretty much just lined him up and got a 5-man stun, an incredible move, which also allowed for an Omni Slash to blow up the IO. That was pretty much the only way they even got close to winning that fight, was that initial Burrow Strike. So follow-ups disable from DDC here. A huge mistake actually by Yao here. Burrow striking in where he did guaranteed his death as well, because he jumped right on top of where Shadow Fiend was. We can take a look at that one more time here. Because when Shadow Fiend dies, big ulti comes out from his death. If the Burrow Strike would have just gone past, actually, if he just Burrow Striked to like here instead, he would have still been alive and possibly gotten more done. So quite a few accidental deaths coming out on LGD Forever Young. Ultimately, didn't matter in the end. They eventually come back and win it, but man, they got the racks behind. The game got a whole lot harder because of it.
Thank you very much, Purge. Indeed, that is something that you were just talking about, Gods, that it did, for quite a long part of that, feel like LGD had control, and yet Forever Young did thrive in the end. It's getting late, excuse me.
I think a captain other than Zhao 8 on the Dire side would not have been able to turn that game around. Very few captains, at least, with the position they were in.
So it does just come down to that voice.
Yeah.
That
now you know why we were like, oh, they have the director. We're going to just side them, despite thinking...
The game was like, what, like 80-20 favored to LGD at one point, maybe at least 70-30 favored. Yeah, it was pretty handily won as far as the early to mid game went. Like, by no means was it in the back. Like, that's how Dota works.
But I still think that LGD's lineup, they had a really solid lineup. They didn't play well.
Just a poorly executed game. Oh, no, not poorly executed, excuse me.
Just like one piece of the puzzle.
One piece. We'll keep coming back, and we'll return to the discussion with Jinxing in a while. But first, social media questions are always fun, and we've got a couple more extras for the panel here. It does look like it's going to be coming from Secretly Cool. And he says, does regional meta mean anything on this international stage? Regional meta. Now, this is something that, I mean, we haven't actually talked too much about. It doesn't feel like there is that many trends established outside of the
I feel like it's teams that bring a meta. I'm not so sure that things are like they used to be when you'd have one scene plays this way almost exclusively. I mean, you do see an element of that sometimes, but I think we know the teams better. Each team kind of favors certain things a bit more. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of the same heroes picked across regions. There are a few things that perhaps some regions favor more, but it's pretty similar to me, honestly.
I think it's a good point that it really is team metas. I think there's regional heroes.
Yeah.
There are certain heroes that regions play more than others. Like if you look at China, it's the Rubik, the Sand King perhaps. With the Western teams, it's like the Ogre Magi, a bit more of the Shadow Demon Lunas. But meta-wise, playstyle-wise, it's much more team-specific.
Is that thanks to the patch? I mean, from what I hear, we have previously had more regional metas. Winter. It has existed in the past, but
a lot of people would tell you this is probably the best patch we've ever had in Dota 2. A lot of heroes are viable, a lot of playstyle is viable.
And that's coming in from Secretly Cool.
It's also, just one more thing, it is also towards the end of the patch's lifetime. So a lot of the teams in different regions have had that time to cross-pollinate.
Cross-pollinate, solid word, I like that, indeed. And so we're kind of at that pinnacle now of 6.88.
Yeah.
Got another question coming in, and it was a good one there from Secretly Cool. He says, I'm not going to try and pronounce it, Aholivas. He says, how to best buff Windranger and Queen of Pain. We have seen a bit of Quap, not too much Windranger.
Yeah, she
didn't
look great.
That was one game Windranger.
We got Windranger? Okay.
Yeah, Wings lost that game against Warriors in the group stage.
Which hero is worse, would you say, is the question? I would almost say Quap's worse than Windranger.
I think Quap is worse.
Well, I mean, you can't ask Winter. He's actually, I think he physically hates Quap.
I've never seen him so angry. He was furious.
Seriously?
Yeah.
As soon as the camera cut, he just started throwing darts at like a picture of Quap.
Yeah. It was shocking stuff.
That was the MP game, right?
Yeah, you were not happy. So, I mean, you have to answer his question. Well, how to best buff? I mean, we're not sitting here. None of these guys are Ice Frog, I can tell you that now. But
I've heard a lot of people saying that the travel time on her Stifling Dagger is her
armor,
Shadow Strike is too slow.
Give her more armor, like stats.
She's weak. She is weak. She used to be strong in lane. Like, she'd bag you and run you down, and it was a nightmare. Something's changed. They need to fix her.
Okay. Well, the mid lane used to be much like Bottles got nerfed. The runes used to have a higher impact. Now it's like all these supports are there. It's like 2v2 or like 4 heroes ganking you. I don't know. Mid lane's changed a lot.
No answers. Yeah.
The other heroes got buff, I think. The other heroes got stronger, but Queen of Pain stayed the same.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that when they were interviewed, who was it that picked it? Was it Team MP? the pick Quap.
Yeah, the Jack
and
Envy played it.
MSS was in the real stacks asking, why do you guys pick Queen of Pains? I don't know why we pick Queen of Pains.
I have no answer for you.
Oh.
Well, our fan is sad about the previous draft, but hey, it's going to be coming up soon. We've got one more question before we can treat you to the next draft of the series, and this one's coming in from Sir Ironclad. This one's from Twitter.
I know this guy. Yeah, sure, why not?
It's a short answer. Do we need more bold heroes? Oh wait, I can't pronounce it, so you have to say it. You have to say the question.
Do we need more bold heroes?
I can't hear the difference
in Dota.
Bold and bold.
I'm trying to think of which bold heroes we've got. Obviously, I'm going to count IO.
What?
100%. Ogre, he's
Ogre's
bold. Alchemist with certain sets. If you take his hat off, he's bold.
What about Anti-Miner? Anti-Mage's got like a little...
Yeah, he's got hair.
Anti-Mage has hair, come on.
Yeah,
like
he's got shaved head.
Bold.
Yeah, Earth Spirit, I'll give you that one.
Witch Doctor?
We don't know what Clockwork's like under there. Kunkka looks like he's kind of losing it on the top there. Pudge.
I mean, there's some like Tide, which are like...
Yeah, but he's a fish, dude. I wouldn't expect him to have hair. Anything hooded, you
a
could
hairy
say.
fish is quite disturbing.
Darkseer. Darkseer's bold. Faceless Void. Lich, of course. Let's Witch Doctor. Let's chuck a few more in there. A few more bold heroes.
Lich is a shamble of bones or whatnot. You're not supposed
there's
to
no
have
hair there, is there?
You're not supposed to have hair.
Yeah, but there's no hair there, is there? Hence, it's bold.
There's no hair there, is there? I like that. That rhymes. Right, our second game of the series. Back into game. LGD versus LGD.FOREVER Young. If you have just joined us and you're catching the tail end of our second day of playoffs here for the Boston Major, you have missed a treat.
Very happy with the Wind Ranger shirt. We were just talking about how that hero sucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That was absolutely wonderful. One more game, and this is out of interest for a lot of people.
Could be two more games.
It could be two. One more series.
Yeah.
But also, it is just a battle to represent China. Who will represent China in the Boston Major?
Director 8.
Director 8. Faith in Zhao 8. We can kind of recap exactly what it is that went so wrong for LGD. You said they had a lot of control. So, I mean, gods, I'm assuming you wouldn't expect too much of a change in their draft. I mean, you said that they were close 70-30 at one point.
Yeah, I think draft-wise it's fine. It's
comfortable.
Really, the talk has to be like one of those motivational talks where you've got to get the players in the right mindset, try and give Jizing some more confidence in that offlane position, because if he just had a bit more fearlessness as far as just jumping in, going for some of those initiations, trusting in his team to back him up, it could have been a very different game.
Don't you think it's weird, though? Is Jixing one of his favorite heroes as Legion Commander? Is that right?
That's what
There's a hero that jumps in. You need your team. Yeah, I know, but don't you think it's weird that that's a hero he loves, and then Nick's Assassin, he's like hesitant? It's like similar kind of...
comfort zone, though.
He's played